What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. You know who this guy is over here. He's chilling out there looking out the window. That's our vibe curator, Mr. Maverick. We got a really cool episode coming today. Sorry, I haven't posted an episode in a long time. I have been so insanely busy. It's not even funny. Had my brother's bachelor party down in Charleston for a couple days. That was fun though. I loved my little brother's bachelor party. Good time, good people. And then had I've just been wide open. Had a few reschedules. This past weekend, I was at the Truist Championship here in Charlotte, formerly known as the Wells Fargo Championship. If you don't know what that is, it's a giant PGA signature event that goes down in Charlotte every year. Really fun time, honestly. I usually get free tickets through my old boss. Shout out my guy Cliff. Even though he's like 4'2", he's a great dude. Always gives me tickets, always hooks me up. He's the 18th hole captain. But let's see. So yeah, we had that this weekend. And if any of you guys know anything about me, like my friends do, there's one other place that I could spend countless amounts of money in. And that is like a country club pro shop with like a badass logo. And then the Truist Championship Pro Shop, honestly, badass logo. Got this out there. Charlotte, Truist Championship badge on the side. Dude, I was in there Saturday just buying shit I didn't even need. Did I need a new golf towel? No, I didn't. But here I am. Truist Championship golf towel. I thought it was going to have a grommet on it so I could hook it to my bag and use it like a regular towel, but nope. There's just this giant piece of ribbon on the back. Did I care? No. 18th hole right there, pin location, state of North Carolina, Quill Hollow Clubhouse, the pavilion. Fun fact, my brother is actually getting married in that clubhouse. But yeah, Truist Championship towel. Let's see. I'm gonna hook this onto my 5-wood. Yes, that is a Pinehurst driver cover. But another example. Did I need a driver or a hybrid cover from Tot Hill Farm? No. Do I have one? Yes. I'd buy everything with that logo on it. Just a prime example there of just the person I am. It's got a sick logo. I'm buying it. Yeah, Tot Hill Farm. If you do love playing challenging golf, just an absolute beauty of a Mike Strand or a Strands design. Go check it out. Shout out Ashboro, Zoo City. Got myself a Truist Championship ball marker. I think I already showed that, but you know what? I got myself another one with just the badge on it. I'm gonna try and find it. Where is my other one? Oh, is this it? That was it. Oh, no, it's a mulligan. There it is. Truist Championship ball marker. Also, Mountaintop Golf and Lake Club divot tool. Sick country club in the mountains. If you ever get to play it, I would play it. But cool episode coming today. First off, before we get into it, I want to thank the show partners. Cordina Eyewear. If you want to save on your shipping and get it free, use code RiseFliesCLT at checkout or check out the link in the show notes. We got a Fwetta coffee, Free Fly apparel, Yeti coolers, and also Trout Routes. Trout Routes has saved me multiple times. Also, check the link in the show notes to get yourself a month of Trout Routes Pro free. It saved me. Help it save you. But episode today, we got one of the co-founders of Howler Brothers, Mr. Rick Wittenbraker. So until we get into the interview, up next is Rick Wittenbraker. What's up, guys? Like I said in the intro, we do have an interview today. Rick, so for listeners who may not know who you are yet or what you do, can you introduce yourself and share your background in the outdoors and fly fishing a little bit?
Sure, man. My name is Rick Wittenbraker. I work here at Howler Brothers. Been here for over 12 years now. And prior to that, I worked at Yeti for several years. And then all through that time, I've helped and been a part of a lot of other stuff here, especially in the fly fishing world.
Sweet, man. So I know Howler Brothers is all over the spectrum. Like you got fishing, surfing, travel stuff. So where did that connection to surfing, fishing, and travel kind of begin for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it really, I think is best sort of presented as our founders, Chase Hurd and Andy Stepanian. They just love doing all that stuff and more. And so when they had the idea or had an idea of some stuff they wanted to make, and then how do we make that happen, and how do we build a brand around it, it was really all about, well, we like to do all this stuff, and when we go on a trip, we don't live in a silo. We like to do all these things. And so
Yeah.
really that was sort of the genesis and the impetus behind involving all these things. It was not like, oh, we make shoes and we're going to make shoes for this sport and then shoes for that sport. It was more like, no. We kind of view this as one thing in one, bag we're going to pack for this trip. And so that was really how it all started and where they came from, and why they and why we to this day do what we do. It's not siloed. It really is about doing all the stuff.
Yeah, so I think I was just talking to one of my buddies earlier, those companies that do everything and not just stay confined to one thing, especially in the outdoor industry, are the ones that stick around for a while. Because it's
look, I think that's an interesting comment, because sometimes I think in a lot of ways it's a lot harder because you're trying to be good at a lot of stuff, but in each of those pursuits has its own nuances and own interest groups and all that stuff. So it can be a lot more difficult, but I think maybe where you were going with this is well, if you can figure out how to do this or figure out your point of view in this, it can also be applied to that.
Right. That's kind of what I was going to say right there. That came off so bad. But dude, so how did the idea for Howler Brothers kind of come about from the beginning?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned a minute ago, Chase and Andy, they had been taking trips together. They had been traveling all over the place together for years. In fact, they were in it and technically still in a band together. and and so all of that time for years, like since college, and so you know, just endless miles and endless nights traveling in a van, sleeping in crappy hotel rooms, and all that stuff as part of the band. And that, what it also gave them, in addition to collaborating creatively, was like all this time, travel time to, you know, talk, BS, throw out
Yeah.
ideas while they're in there. And so I think what it afforded them was a ton of, and because they were working together creatively, they already kind of knew how to work together. And so actually, I believe it's kind of a secret for us. Not a secret, but like it's a secret weapon for us that they came into this already knowing how to collaborate, and they've been doing it for years. And so it was really no big whoop for them to start doing this together. And they already had their familiarity and their boundaries and like who's good at which things. And so it was actually pretty, a totally new flavor and a totally new identity. Oh, there's the dog.
Yeah,
But
there he is.
there he is. But for them, it was like, yeah, we're already familiar with this dynamic, and
Yeah,
so the idea
that's
really came. They had, like I said, they love to do all these different things when they take trips, and they were taking trips down to Costa Rica to surf and fish, and said, it felt like they have to pack all this surfing stuff and then all this fishing stuff and then all this other stuff, and said, well, we think there's a better way to do it, and to not only do it like from a functionality standpoint or a technical standpoint, but like make it cooler, make it better, make it more appealing, make it more fun. And so
yeah.
that's really where it all came from.
Dude, I think that's something I struggle with like really bad. Like we went down to Aruba a couple years back, for a family trip, and I brought an 8 weight on the plane. It was like stereotypical, like walking on the plane. I had it in like a tube, and it was smacking the top of the plane and all that stuff. And it was just a giant like nuisance. My girlfriend was pissed at me by the end of the day. My mom was pissed at me. She's like, just put that thing somewhere, like put it up in the. But besides like packing my rods and reels and stuff like that and flies, the one thing that I completely like didn't account for is sun shirts or something like
Yeah,
that, and the clothes. And I had like maybe one sun shirt and one pair of shorts that
yeah,
I literally would wake up and throw on and fish all through the morning, and then I'd hang it up to dry. And I
yeah,
was like, I did not think about that, but it's like now when we go somewhere and I know I'm gonna fish, I could pack a whole other bag full of stuff
yeah, of
where it's
course.
like I just have to get like a bunch of stuff where I can be like, all right, I'm gonna throw this in a bag, and just I can wear it to dinner, I can wear it to lunch and wear it out, but I can also fish in it.
Yeah. Well, that was a part of their inspiration too, was I don't want to, so many times it felt like you're doing one activity and you get back to the lodge and you feel like you got to completely change clothes and then
Yeah,
redress. And so how do we, it's not entirely fluid, but how do you make that better? And how do you make
yeah,
stuff that can apply to all these different things? Or if you forgot, you didn't know, you didn't pack all the stuff, and you get invited to go one day, you can still pull it off,
yeah.
you know?
That
So
is
that was a
like
big part of it.
that's the worst feeling too, like especially on vacation, is like getting home and it's like, all right, I either got to throw on like a shirt that is just going to stick to me because I've been sweating all day, or it's like I'm going to have to shower and actually put on something nice.
Yep, yep.
I
I
usually,
can't help with, we can't help with the sweating part necessarily,
yeah.
but
Yeah, but I end up usually just throwing something on, taking like an Italian shower, and and throwing something else on. But it's one of those things. It's like that's something I got to get better at, is packing dual purpose clothing.
yeah.
But
It's funny, yeah. It's easy to overpack too, but I think that's where a lot of this can be sort of multi-purpose.
oh yeah, it is very easy to overpack, dude. Like I went to my brother's bachelor party for 3 days, and I swear I felt like I was carrying a sack of bricks on my back. I had so many clothes with me.
Yep.
But how has Howler Brothers evolved since those kind of like earlier days?
Yeah, I mean, look, like a lot of companies, we've grown a lot and evolved a lot, and so there's a lot. I mean, in every aspect of the business, every facet of what we do, it's grown exponentially. And so, whether that's designing, whether that's manufacturing, all the logistics and operations involved, marketing, selling, all the stuff. And so, what I think that means for us is that, or anyone going through that growth is you get something figured out, and you have all these plates spinning and all these things, fires you got to tend to, and you get, okay, let's just say we got manufacturing figured out, so I can put more attention over here for the time being. But then what happens is you crest the next hill, and you go, oh shoot, now we got to figure this out again because we've outgrown that factory, or we need additional things, or we need, whatever the case may be. And so it's always evolving, and always, and then, there's also environmental things that change. And so you got to adapt to that or incorporate those things. And so how do you keep, going up and to the right while incorporating all those changes or learning all those new things. So in a lot of ways, we're the same as anyone. But I think specifically we've changed a lot in that when it was a much smaller team and there's 5 of us, it's real easy to do stuff and all be on the same page. And now that, there's more than 40 of us, you have to have more systems, more better communication, more sort of official stuff, because otherwise people get left out, or not everyone's on the same page, and then something doesn't happen or whatever. And so, but I will say that I feel like there are moments when that feels tough or awkward, but for the most part, we have a great group of people that helps facilitate all those evolutions and growth through the changes.
Oh yeah, that's got to definitely be like a double-edged sword, just because it's like the growth is good and all that stuff, but it's like, damn, dude, I got like 80 people on this damn email that I gotta
Yeah,
put in here.
yeah, and I think you learn too. Like, I don't know. I feel like we've really come to understand that there are things you do because you're bigger, and then you make very deliberate decisions to try and keep a lot of the nimbleness and the fun and the looseness of being small. And it's not always easy, but you can do that by being very deliberate about things and saying no to a lot of stuff, staying focused and avoiding the distractions. And so I feel like we've done a great job. And even though we're over 40 people, it still feels really small in a positive way. And
Yeah.
but we're able to execute way above our weight class on all the other stuff.
Oh yeah, dude, like I've seen recently, like especially with you guys, like your social media is unbelievable. It's awesome. Like some of the
Thanks,
stuff
man.
that you guys have been spearheading has been really cool. Like what's the you guys have like a van tour going on right now, isn't it, with like the two
Yeah,
interns?
yeah. That's it's a really really cool program we launched. Oh man, like 10, 12 years ago or something, and it's called the Privateers, the Howler Privateers, and it's like the ultimate summer road trip job.
Yeah.
And originally it started because we had all these trade shows in the summer, and we needed to get the booth and the van and the samples A to B to C at these trade shows. But now we took a little hiatus there, but now we brought it back this year, and it's less about the trade shows and more just about, hey, let's bring all that fun and that stoke to the community. And so it's way more. Whereas in the past, that all of the community stuff was a really fun sort of second part of the privateers program. Now it's the top part. It's the priority, and transportation logistics is really not even important. It's really just about being involved and letting, it's an awesome way for us to interact with the community throughout the summer. That's consumers, customers, it's shops, it's events, it's all kinds of cool stuff. So keep an eye out this summer, because they're probably coming somewhere close to you, and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on.
I'll definitely check that out, because I'm pretty sure we have, like, Jesse Brown Outdoors is a huge Howler Brothers dealer up here. And I still do, like, I go in there all the time, and all their stuff is mostly Howler Brothers clothes now. And do, like, is it the Groucho shirt that you guys have? That's like the big hit.
The Gaucho.
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
that's a deli.
Not
That's a
Groucho
deli in
Marx.
Colombia.
Yeah, no, a Gaucho is like a cowboy in Argentina, Uruguay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
See,
in Brazil too. Yeah.
I never knew that was the name behind that shirt.
Yeah.
It was a cowboy in Brazil and Argentina. That's pretty cool. Dang,
Yeah.
I got my mind confused, because there's this awesome deli in Columbia, South Carolina, outside the Saluda River called Groucho's Deli. And I got to stop there every time I go through Columbia.
There you go.
But, dude, yeah, they got those in there. And, dude, some of the designs on those are super cool. They kind of, like, remind me of one of the old school, like, Johnny Cash t-shirts. Or not t-shirts, the Johnny Cash shirt.
I mean, look, we from the get-go, we've been around now for, the company's been launched, like, publicly available for 15 and a half years now. But even in the time leading up to that, when Chase and Andy were coming up with the product ideas and the brand and all of everything around it, they took a lot of inspiration from vintage Western stuff, even back when they were in college and playing in the band.
Okay.
And here in Texas, that's also something that you just grow up with. Is like those are always those items are just always around in some way or another. And so, hey, how can we go do our spin on those? And then how do we mash that up or combine it with the things we love to do, and the places we love, and the thing, all the things around those places that they make them, fairly emblematic, and they mean something to the people who also like to do it. So, for example, the on the nose sort of obvious, I'll call it rookie level choice would be to say, oh, I love to catch redfish, I'm just going to put a redfish on a shirt. Well,
yeah,
that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's great for a lot of folks. But for us, we like having these layers and depth to our designs, and so instead of just putting a redfish on it, we said, well, what's emblematic of fishing for redfish? And so we've done shrimp, and we've done crabs, and we've done a lot of different birds and things that take you back to that place, even if it's not a redfish,
See, I like that too, because there's some kind of like hidden meaning behind it. It's like, it's not exactly a redfish, but it's the main component of what a redfish eats.
That's right.
And
so when you see that, the idea is not just that hopefully you like the shrimp, and that's great. But if you do love to fish, you probably instantly think of shrimp as bait or a shrimp fly, and now you're instantly transported to being on the bow of the skiff or being at the coast, and so it actually is delivering you to this happy place. And so I don't, there's nothing wrong again with putting the redfish on there, but we just take a more, I think, design forward approach and say, well, how do we deliver people there without being so on the nose?
Yeah. Kind of in like a roundabout way. How do we deliver somebody there and
Yeah.
with like a larger than a straight line map? You
You
got to
know,
take.
yeah, and I mean, think about it like almost like there's other ways other things you could do that with. You know, if I had, let's just say, okay, what do you think of when I say a hot dog and a draft beer?
Baseball.
A baseball game. So your
Yeah.
head instantly went to baseball. I didn't show you a baseball or a mitt or a bat or a diamond, but when I do that, that's the equivalent of a shrimp or a crab for baseball. And
That's
so it's that same connection, and you probably love, you know, hot dogs and cold beer, but you also love that as a part of the baseball, being at the baseball game,
oh yeah.
you know, and all that that means, and all the times, you know, in your life you've gone and done that and grown up doing it and stuff. So there's other ways to do it that hopefully evoke all that fun and happiness and emotion that aren't just straight on the nose.
Oh yeah. Um so kind of like we've hit on a lot of these questions on like the creativity ones. So how has fly fishing influenced your life and your work, you think?
Me personally,
Yes, sir.
yeah, you know, I think like a lot of people, fly fishing is something that I got into at a pretty young age. I always grew up fishing, but mostly, you know, bait casters and catching bass out of ponds and stuff like that. And as I became more and more obsessed with it, and you want to do more and go different places and catch different types of fish and things, adding fly into the mix was sort of a, you know, just another natural progression. And I think like a lot of people, I first got into it out west in the Rockies catching trout, and that was really fun and really cool and very different than catching bass at home.
Oh
And
yeah.
then so for me, it was like, all right, well, let's take that back. And so I started applying it to bass fishing, and then, okay, what else can we do? And then as I got a little older, we started doing more salt, and so now I think it is a hobby, it is a pursuit that I love, but you know, going I'm trying to think of the year, but all the way back to before I started working for doing work for Yeti, is that I I had never really my like personal interests and my hobbies and my work had never really overlapped, and that was
Okay.
the first time where they started to merge and overlap, at least from like a subject matter standpoint. And so that became really easy and fun. And so it did impact my life in the sense of, well, I got to combine those two things or overlap those two things. And so it ended up being something that was a real, you know, really fun, really cool, interesting. I got to meet all these people that I had watched on TV or heard about for years, and it just became this incredible opportunity. And you know, in some way, I was like a little kid in a candy shop.
Oh yeah. It's like I remember
I'm gonna move this
feel
real
like I
quick so
started the
it's
same
going
way.
down with.
Bass fishing and I was on a high school and college fishing team
Oh, cool.
and fished the high school nationals was at like used to go to the Classic Expo every year. And then
Yep.
one day I was like, you know what, like I kind of want to start fly fishing. And when I started that, I was like, dude, there is nothing like this. And then started catching bass and panfish on a fly. But it's
Yeah.
like at the same time, like during the spring when like our college season would come around, I'm like, all right, I'm throwing the rods back in the boat and I'm throwing the fly rods in the corner and they're collecting dust. And then after that season, the fly rods get picked back up, and then finally, like I lived down in Florida for 2 years, and I think I smoked a sandbar at Lake Panisofsky and bent my prop shaft and didn't want to fix my lower unit, and
Yeah.
started catching tarpon and reds and that whole that whole giant that whole giant complete science to that.
Yeah.
And when I moved back here, I still have my boat and I got my lower unit fixed. But all my rods got stolen out of my
Oh no.
stolen out of my truck at in our um in our apartment complex that wasn't
Oh
in the
shit.
greatest area.
You know,
So
I think. Well, I mean, that's obviously terrible and terrible for a young guy to have to deal with and like rebuild your kit. But one thing I thought I always sort of was drawn to, and without even articulating it, and then I've had several very respected anglers point this out. You know, just that, and it's pretty obvious, but there's a lot easier ways to catch fish.
oh
Fly
yeah,
fishing is deliberately tougher, but that's also what makes it so great. And so
exactly.
it's less about, you know, trying to stack up numbers or fill the cooler or anything. And it's way more about the process and the journey and the details. And so I think that is, I know it's one thing that I love, and it's a big part of like why Howler embraces that too, is because we do care a lot about the details and we care a lot about the why. And so it's not, we're not angry at the fish, you know.
Yeah.
It's way more about the process and the journey and being there with your friends and doing all the stuff. And sometimes you come home empty-handed, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
okay too.
That's like I bow hunt too,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
make that
same. It's very.
I
I think
make
it's
that
really
comparison.
similar in a lot of ways. You know that
Oh yeah.
there are a lot of lot easier ways to take down a deer or whatever you're pursuing. And but the bow hunting is a lot like fly, and it makes it a lot harder. And you got to get closer, and you
Oh
got to
yeah.
be, you know, you can't rely on all this other stuff. And so I think there's a lot in common there.
Oh yeah. And it's like you're saying earlier. It's like sometimes you come home empty-handed, and it's like sometimes it's like my girlfriend doesn't understand. She's like, "Well, you saw like 10 deer. Why didn't you kill any?" I was like, "Well, one of them was a button buck. Not
Yeah,
gonna kill a button buck."
yeah,
And
yeah,
then two, one was at like 50 yards, and I'm not making a risky shot at a big buck with risk of killing it or
yeah.
slowly.
And you know, I think even zooming out from there, the bigger thing is that you want to do it, you want to shoot that deer with your bow, and but you want to do it the right way. And if that means
Oh
you
yeah.
got to keep working and get better, whatever that is, all those little incremental things to get better and then get to that goal, that's fine.
Oh yeah. That's like one of those things too. I'm like, I I started bow hunting. I want to say 4 years ago now. I still suck. I've killed multiple deer over, but it's like there's something you can always improve on, and that's the same thing with fly fishing. Like a lot of people are like, well, like, do you go out and like ever not catch anything? I'm like, dude, 90, not 90, I should say like 75% of the time I go out and I don't catch a damn thing.
Yeah, totally. But
But
then, you know, I think the flip side is that when you do come tight or you are able to punch a tag with your bow, it's just that much more meaningful.
oh
And you
yeah.
put all that much more work into it, and so it rings true and it feels so great, and it means something.
I just had that same conversation with one of my buddies 3 weeks ago. I took him fly fishing for the first time, and he caught his first trout on a fly. And I literally looked at him like mid morning. I was like, dude, like you're gonna lose a bunch of fish, but when you catch one, I was like, it is gonna be the most rewarding feeling
Yeah, it's great.
you'll ever have in fishing. And sure enough, he caught one by the end of the day. He looked at me. He's like, dude. He's like, you know what? That is a very rewarding feeling.
Yeah, of
It's like,
course.
yeah. But that just like seeing some of that stuff too, like kind of being on the like outside looking in, watching your buddy catch his first trout. That's why we do it, you know.
Oh yeah.
But what were some of the biggest challenges for you when you started working at Howler?
Oh man. Um, let's see. Well, I think two of the kind of most obvious ones are that I came into, although I had already become friends with Chase and Andy and Mason prior, it was, I was the new guy, I was the outsider, I was the only guy who was not in the band. They already had this shorthand. Even beyond talking about Howler, like they had a shorthand and I didn't have it. And so I had to figure out the Howler stuff and everything involved with the company and the brand and the product offering and all those things. And then I also had to figure out, develop, I think our own or my own like way of communicating with everybody, and they're all a little different. And so I think that's kind of the obvious one. Um, and but with time and effort and persistence, like you can get there.
Oh yeah,
And then the other thing that for me was a challenge was that, at least compared to Yeti, was Yeti were selling coolers and gear, and we had hats and tees and whatnot, but that was really supplemental to the primary offering. Whereas here, apparel is our primary,
yeah,
and it's just different, like in the way. Really, I had to rethink and sort of develop a new playbook around, well, how do customers think and how do customers buy apparel versus buying gear, and what does
right,
that cycle look like and what's the frequency look like and all those things, and not just to like for metrics reasons, but to really try and understand what moves people, how do they act, how do they, what are the factors that go into their decision making, what's important to them, and so all those things, and it's one's not better than the other. It's just a different game. And so I had to
yeah,
learn the rules of the game again, even though the previous one was similar.
yeah, dude. That's a great way to put it. I never really thought about that. Um, a lot of people think you can just go from say selling boats to going and selling Yetis or stickers, like in the snap of a finger. It's like once you sell, I mean, kind of like a lot of people sometimes think once you sell one thing, it's like you can go and sell, say, medical sales,
Yeah,
and it's like two completely separate. Like you're saying, you had to switch your playbook up, so
yeah.
you gotta learn a whole new offense.
Well, and I think like the sales part of it is about, let's say, comparing it to sports is almost like being in good shape and being a good
Yeah,
athlete, but you got to go learn this other game. And not just you got to learn the other sport, but you got to learn the other offense and what the coaches want you to do, and what are all the conditionals and things around that. And so
yeah.
it is a whole different thing. But it doesn't mean you're not a good athlete, and it doesn't mean you're not capable. It just takes a while.
Oh yeah, it's like a quarterback struggling in a system, but it's like, see, I can say this because my brother knows Daniel Jones. It's like Daniel Jones when he went from New York and then he went to Indianapolis. Everybody was telling him like everybody was talking about how bad he was, and then he goes to Indy in a new offense and he's a stud for
Yeah.
until he gets hurt. Same exact thing. But yeah, my brother played high school football with Daniel Jones.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. But how what keeps you motivated after all these years in the industry, working for Yeti and working for uh working for Howler?
I mean, Motivation is we still got a long ways to go. We got a lot that we want to accomplish as a company and as a team and as a brand. And so that, and that's always evolving. So you kind of never get there. It's like trying to reach the horizon. And so that's always a motivation to keep doing more and better, and doing it what we feel like is the right way, not just for numbers' sake, not just for ego's sake, but like doing stuff the right way that we feel like is the right way to build the business and the brand. But really, one of my favorite things, even stretching outside of Howler, because that was, I think what your question was, is one of my favorite things about the industry is the people.
Yeah.
And I think that is really the core. I think it's why, I think a lot of people get into this industry because they love to fish or they love to hunt or they love the outdoors. And so they're trying to just figure out a way to almost do their hobby, get paid to do their hobby in some sense. But I think what actually keeps people in and why, where, it ends up being very meaningful is really more around the people.
100%. I do like the trade shows. Like I don't know if you're going. You going to Soulfly this weekend in Charleston?
No, I'm not. I would love to.
No.
I love those boys. Grizz and Paul are both really good friends, and we fished together, fished in Louisiana together, fished, all this stuff, and love those guys. But I can't. I got something with my kids this weekend, so I can't make it.
I got you, dude. But those trade shows are so much fun. Dude, like stuff
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
is so cool, so much fun, and it's like it's kind of like how I was down. I was down there for a show outside of Seaweed. I was down there for cast and drafts, but dude, like after all that got out, it's like everybody started going out, getting dinner, and like going to the bar, and it was literally like a giant. It was all those guys were down at the bar. We were meeting up with all these different people, and that's something that it's like you're not gonna find, say, in the medical sales industry at a trade show.
Yeah. Well, I think that outside of the, what's great about it is outside of the business part, whatever your job is in the industry, is that outside of that, you also are genuinely there as a fan. And that's probably very different than, to your example, the medical sales or a lot of other things.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of those events are so great because they sort of become like a de facto reunion of sorts, and so you get to see a lot of people you hadn't seen in a while, and they end up being a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. That it's better like once you get older. Like when I was fishing in college, it's like I only had one. I don't know if you've been to the Bassmaster Classic with Yeti
No, I haven't.
or
No.
iCast.
Oh yeah, I cast for sure. Years.
Dude, it's like iCast. It's like after the doors close at the show, it's like a giant party.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
right.
that stuff's super fun.
Yeah,
But
and
it's like literally everybody's like, oh, I haven't seen you in 10 years. It's like that at the Classic too.
yeah,
It's like my buddies that fish down at LSU are all out there, and that's just something that I've always loved.
yeah.
But what's next for you, you guys? Any new projects or directions you're excited about moving in?
Yeah, we always have a lot in the pipeline. I think that's something that we really love doing. It's something we pride ourselves on, is having not just future seasons in the works, but all these collaborations, special projects, special releases. It's something we just love doing. I think it's a pretty important part of who we are as a brand, and it's something that the team really rallies around too. So I don't want to spoil anything, but we have a lot of good stuff, both sort of special releases and the ones that we call mutations. We've got one of those coming up that's pretty darn fun and out there. And then we've got more of those, as well as some collaborations coming this fall. And then even next spring, some that we're lining up, they're going to be pretty remarkable. So I'm excited about all those. I love working on those projects, and it's fun to continue finding other. And we love doing the ones that are, again, like we talked about with the shirt designs. We love doing those ones that are less obvious.
Yeah.
And so finding whether it's a creative path or a partner to work with, like we love finding those ones that are less obvious. But we got some great stuff in the pipeline.
Sweet. Where can listeners follow along with the brand and any of your work?
Yeah, Howler Brothers, howlerbros.com, and then on all socials we're Howler Bros as well. And that's frankly the best place. And you'll be able to, if you sign up for emails and you follow on social, you'll be able to get just more than you want of the fun stuff we're doing. And I think that you also get these, if you pay attention, there are these little drops that we leave in there that lead up to the new stuff coming. And so there's little breadcrumbs. It's definitely worth following along and paying attention and trying to be a little bit of an investigator. And so those are really fun. And then I'd say that's the best, man. And then, the Howler networks social networks are definitely the best place to get a full buffet plate of the meat and three of all the fun stuff we got going on.
I got you. So my last question of every podcast episode is I do a running playlist on Spotify.
Cool.
I give 5 songs, and then you give 5 songs.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's
okay. I'm gonna open my phone real quick just so I can be I won't drag on this. But
I got you. You're okay. All good.
So I'm giving you 5 songs. And now, do you want me personally? Do you want more Howler?
Whatever works with you. Go do a little mix of both.
Oh man. Okay.
Go you personally if it's easier.
Okay. Well then, this is gonna be a little of a mashup. Okay. But I'm going to go with International Players Anthem by UGK. It's hard.
Cool.
It's hard to do better than that, especially on a boat. I am probably going to give you Smooth Operator by Sade. She is an absolute powerhouse, a little overlooked, but
oh yeah,
since the 80s has just been delivering time and time again. I'll throw it down an awesome cover. So we're sort of covering a couple people here, but there's an awesome cover of Suspicious Minds by the Heptones. It's sort of a dub version of the Elvis classic. That's a great one. I'm going to go with Police and Thieves by The Clash. I think that's 4.
Suspicious Minds was the Heptones?
The Heptones. Heptones.
Sweet.
Police and Thieves by The Clash. And then I'm debating on which song here, but I think for like long-term sentimental reasons, I'll give you Volver by Vicente Fernandez.
Volver. Is that Volver? Is that the song?
Volver.
Is that the song from Step Brothers? Nah, that's
I don't believe so.
that might be a different one. Shoot. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I'm not exactly sure. You caught me off guard with that one, man. But
who sang it?
Oh my gosh, Vicente Fernandez. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I don't think that's the one from Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Um, oh, that's shoot. I'll have to
Well, that could
figure
be
out
one of
which
your
one
5
it is.
songs. That's
Yeah,
one
it
of your
could.
5, man.
Yeah. Um, let's see. All right, my 5. Um, my dog's down here making noises. Let's see. My first one was a new Noah Khan song. It's called American Cars.
Okay.
Um, R.I.P. My second one, long haired redneck, David Allen Coe.
David Allen Coe, recently deceased.
Yeah. That and then pretty good at drinking beer, Billy Currington.
Okay. There you go.
Benny and the Jets.
Wow.
And then Fire on the Mountain, Marshall Tucker Band.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
But that's my 5.
Which Benny and the Jets are you going with?
Oh, let me see. This one was the remastered version. Let's
Okay.
see.
Because there's also a pretty awesome cover mashup with
Huh.
the Beastie Boys and the
Oh,
Diabolical Biz Marquee.
oh,
And
dude,
given
I
all
love
of
the Beastie Boys.
Mike D just released a new single, the first song by a Beastie Boy in 15 years. And with that, he's been sort of popping up and doing some other stuff. So I thought that might have been your inspiration there.
Dude, so one of my all-time favorite, if I start getting real tore up at the bar and they're doing karaoke, I'm a big Paul Revere,
Oh, it's
License
hard.
to Ill
It's hard to
guy.
argue with that, man. It's hard
Yeah,
to argue with that. Yeah, that's an
that
awesome one.
that that License to Ill album is still to this day one of the only records I can put on and listen to front to back without skipping a song.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to that Benny and the Jets album now, or the Benny and the Jets.
Yeah,
Damn, with
go.
Bismarck too.
Oh man, go check it out.
I definitely will. But that's all I got for you today, man. Do you
Okay,
have any
man.
last thanks or plugs?
Um, man. Well, obviously a big thanks to you for having me on. Big thanks to all the team here at Howler Brothers. I want to give a big shout out to Paul Puckett and Alec Griswold for throwing their big event this week. I'm sorry I can't be there, boys, but those are two of my favorite guys, and I'm sad to miss out, but it'll be a blast. And yeah, that's what I got for you.
What's up, guys? That was Mr. Rick with Howler Brothers. Really cool episode. Very, very smart businessman right there. It's really cool to chop it up with him. Um, and just share stories. Vibe curator just walked in the room, but like I said in the intro, check out the show notes. Save yourself free shipping uh, on some Cordina Eyewear apparel, sunglasses, anything. Um, and also check the show notes for a link to get yourself a month of Trout Routes Pro. Um, Thank you guys for listening, and as always, if you feel so inclined to, throw a review on the Apple Podcast site. And we have a 3 episode week this week, so I will see you guys tomorrow and Friday. So tune in tomorrow night, 7:30. This will be up 7:30 tonight as well. But see you guys later.